All right, welcome everybody. This is JRock, your host, and welcome to this live trading session. We are trading the Forex market, and you can learn how to make money in the most profitable, most liquid financial market in the world. Banks trade Forex, companies trade Forex, and country treasuries trade Forex. The wealthy billionaires trade Forex, so why don't you? What I'm going to show you is, what I'm showing everybody and teaching you is how to trade. And what we're looking at, I have pulled up the C Trader, and this is a trading platform. Most people are familiar with MetaTrader, but C Trader is the platform that I have just recently started using, and I really like it. It is very nice. So I'm with a broker called Xenia that I have a few preferred brokers, but I've started to develop a relationship with Xenia, Xenia. And if you're interested, then you can touch base with me and I will tell you how to get started. You can just say JRock referred you, or Cryptos. If you are not already with another leader like Alan, the passive income guru, you will need to go through him and get his link for that broker. But you can see me and I will help you out. Now, Xenia is not a discount broker. They're an A-book only, Forex only broker, and they are a little bit higher. I call them my steak and lobster broker. So right now we're in GJ. I'll come back to the broker here in a minute, but I called to get into sales in GJ because I said the bottom's about to fall out, and people are saying, well, how do you see it? How do you know? Well, I teach it every day. In every one of my videos, I show you how I read charts. All I do is use the moving averages and the RSI. And I apologize if my internet is unstable. My provider, AT&T, I'm about to dump them and go back with Comcast. But hopefully it'll maintain its strength. And actually, I'm going to switch over. If you give me 1 minute, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to switch over to my phone mobile hotspot. So hang tight. All right, so we should be good with a better connection. And what you're looking at is my screen, and we're in a sell on GJ. This thing is going to come all the way down. So here's what I did, and I'm going to show you. This is what I did starting yesterday when I went live on this trading account with Xenia. And I was demoing it for a few days, and then I came live with some money in here to see how we were going to do. And I'm going to show you in the spirit of transparency and show you how this works. And it's really powerful. So Xenia has 1 to 200 leverage. They bumped it up for me for 1 to 500, but it's dynamic leverage, which means that it scales, or it'll start at 500 when you do a 0.50 lot. And then as you increase your lot size, it scales back to 400 and 300 and 250. And that protects you. So you're not going to blow as many accounts. You are going to be protected. You're not going to make a killing, but you're not going to lose a lot of money. And that is the main thing that a lot of people come into trading Forex, and they blow their account because they have 1 to 500 or 1 to 1,000 leverage, and they got bonus match, and they see all of this money. It's kind of like saying you have $1,000 in your account that's your money, and then the broker is giving you a bonus match, so now you have 2,000, and then they're giving you 500 leverage, so now you got 10,000. But you really only have 1,000 in there, but they're letting you play with another 9,000. If you make one mistake, you get a big lot. You could blow that in 10 seconds because it's trading it as if you only have 1,000. So a lot of people are destroying themselves because they don't understand this. And I'm trying to save you from yourself. So if you just listen to me and trade conservatively, Chris Terry didn't make $90 million over 10 years by gambling and by risking everything on every trade. He traded conservatively. He doubled his money every 45 to 60 days. Now I'm going to show you what I did. And this is the history of what I did starting yesterday when I got into some trades. And here we go. So I'm going to bring it all the way up to, I think, right there. Maybe one more. Yeah, that's it right there. So I started out and I did a 2-lot and I made $956. I got into GJ buy, and it stopped me out because it went the other way. So I lost 546. Then I made a buy on NZD JPY, and I made $59 and $93. It doesn't move as fast, so you don't make a lot. Then I got into a 3 lot on GJ, and I made $13.48. I made $21.10. I made $24.19, and then I made $500. I made $234, and I made $239. So what I did was a hedge on GJ. I did a buy and a sell at the same time. Well, not at the same time. I did a buy, and then it started going against me, going down. So I entered a sell because I didn't want the bottom to fall out and I get caught. So I did a sell and a buy, but my trade hedge was upside down. In other words, I had the buy on top and the sell on the bottom. That meant I was upside down or I was negative in my position. Okay. Well, as it ran, GJ ended up turning around and taking off at right after about 10 or 15 pips after I got into that sell. It turned around. That was near the bottom where I put in a sell because it hit my comfort zone of where I didn't want to be in much more drawdown. So I put in that hedge of protection to prevent losing any more. You say, well, why didn't you just get out? It's the psychology of trading. I felt like it was going to go up, but then it would come back down. So I just had that hedge in place. And the psychology of trading, you don't like to see red on your screen. You don't like to close trades for a loss. So you got to understand, you got to be willing to take a loss, and it will help you. So then I'm going to show you, GJ went all the way up about 100 pips, almost 100 pips, over 100 pips it did. And then I closed my buys out, and then I was in the sells that were way down. So I'm negative. If you look down here, my negative net right now is negative 4,500 because that is still the positions of the sells that I was in. Now, if we scroll down, what I'm going to show you is it's called the smart stop out that has happened to me while my margin, I overran my margin. Well, if you know with your current broker, most brokers, they have a stop out percentage on your margin percentage of maybe 69 or 59%. If it comes down to that level, boom, it just closes your whole trade. Well, with this broker and C-Trader platform, they have set my smart stop out to 95%, which means they're going to only allow me to have the percentage come down to 95% before I get stopped out of a trade. That further protects me from a much greater drawdown and a trade really going hard against me. Now, the next part of that is called a smart stop out. So let's say you have a 1 lot, 1.0, and it starts going against you, and you hit that smart stop out 95% level, it will start taking a 0.01 lot from your 1.0 lot. It won't close out the whole trade. It'll just close out a 0.01 and a 0.01 and a 0.02 if it goes quicker, maybe a 0.04, 0.05. It'll keep closing out little increments of your trade so that in case you had the direction right, which a lot of times I've got the direction right and I just mistime it. I get in too early. And like some of my team, well, Serena in particular, she's learned my strategy to use for her advantage. And she's been showing other people how to do it. Where I'll get into a trade and I'll give a stop loss. Well, she puts her entry point at my stop loss. And she gets in at the stop loss and doesn't have much drawdown because I'm normally right on with the direction, but I mistime it and I get in 30 or 40 pips too early. So I'm not always like that. And sometimes you're going to cry because you're going to miss a 200 pip move because you're trying to do that strategy and get in at my stop loss. And I'm going to be a 2 pip stop loss and smoke you. Anyway, when that drawdown comes, it will just smart stop you out of little increments of the trade because it says, well, it's going to help you out in case you just missed it by a little bit and you're a little over leveraged because of the drawdown. So it only takes a little bit. And then boom, when it turns and runs in your favor, you still have the majority of your position still open. So this is what happened to me as it went. GJ, I closed out my buy position and it turned and went back up further. And so I was in a hefty drawdown and it started stopping me out. And if you look over here, here is the lot size that it started stopping me out, 0.03, 0.02. And then this was my net, 2365 that I lost on the trade, 1577. So for someone that's looking at it and say, wow, you had a lot of losses. Well, no, it was a smart stop out feature and it's actually good. When we get down to the bottom, you'll see my gross profit. So I'm going to scroll on down here. And there you go. You see 0.03, 0.02, 0.04, 0.04, 0.03, 0.06. So it was stopping me out little by little as that trade kept going against me. Well, then I'd had enough, and I closed a 0.50 and a 0.50 and a 0.30 just to stop the smart stop out from all the line item losses that I was having. Well, keep going. Then I did a 1.0. I closed that myself. I closed a 0.50, and then the rest of these. So I closed the bigger ones just to stop the bleeding in case it was going to keep running. And then I thought about getting into another buy hedge in case it kept running, but I just really had a strong feeling that the pound was going to stop running and it was going to fall, because every pound pair I looked at was at a maximum except for GU that had a little more potential to run. Every other pound pair was at major resistance on the longer time frames. So as you see, I'm going to go a little bit further down. 0.05, 0.01, 0.09, 0.01, 0.02, all the way down the screen. I closed this 0.60, and it's just a lot of small losses that it was hitting me with. But if you look down here in the bottom right, the realized gain yesterday that I had was $6,000. So it may have a lot of losses, but this is a number that means something. Now, currently, I'm in a few positions, so I got into other positions. These are the positions that I'm in right now, and this was the big hedge that I had. It doesn't have my, so I'd have to change the lot size in here, maybe volume, quantity. There we go. Take off. Just give me 1 second. Channel, label, comment. All right. So there you go. You see the lot size that I have right here. That's what it's saying, the quantity. So that was the big one. And this is the one that it was doing a smart stop out on me on because it was a 10 lot. And then it stopped out 60.61 over the course of time. And then I had a 2, a 2, a 2, and then I added a 1 here at the end. So I actually added these 3 closer to this point. But what I did in the hedge, so I had a buy, it went down against me, and then I entered a sell to stop the bleeding. Well, then it turned and it ran way up here. Well, when it ran way up here, I closed out my buy side, and then I got into sells up here. I added to my sell position to ride it down. Well, when it turned and went further against me, it started stopping out the biggest one, which was way down here, and that was my 10 lot. Started stopping that out. It is recorded. Yes, Aaron. So that's why you see 9.39. I didn't just do a 9.39 lot. So currently it's bumping up right now, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this back down. I just wanted to show you the smart stop out feature because it's really cool. And then you can watch your levels down here. So I have free margin 1348. I have 107%. And then my smart stop out, it shows me my net that I'm down. But I'm watching the trade develop, and I have a feeling that it's going to continue to break down. It just drops and runs, drops and runs. As time goes on, you're going to have fluctuations with Forex. It's just the way it is. So let me show you what I was looking at. I'm going to go to the monthly time frame, and I'm actually going to, let me take off the RSI indicator. Actually, I'm going to go right here. So you can take off your indicators real quick just up here on this feature and then X off whatever you want. So you see all my moving averages that I have. Well, right here, let me zoom in. This is your 34 period moving average on the month time frame. And that yellow line is coming down. Well, where are we at? This is the month of April. Well, we came all the way up. We have the channel trend line right here, and we've hit the peaks and we hit the resistance. Well, we come right up here and we've hit the 34 period moving average. So we're going to have some sort of retracement. We're going to have a pullback, and it could be all the way back to here. And then the next month may bump up and then drop to come all the way down here to this level, which is the 20 period moving average, which will probably be about 145 or 146, because if you put your crosshairs right there, you see these two candles, they're sitting right on top of that level. And if I go across, it's about 146.50. If I go across, you've got resistance at this level. So that is a good support level that we may come back to one more time and then take off. So that's what I'm looking at. And then when I went to another pound pair, let me see, GA. Well, GA has been dropping. Make sure, well, that's a 5-minute time frame. Get on that thing there. Go down here to the month time frame and zoom in. We are above the 34 on GA. So I said, this has strength, but let's go ahead and see one time frame down. I'm going to go to the week and look at it. We are sitting on top of the 5-week moving average. So if I zoom out, I say, well, there's the 100 down here, and we've got all the moving averages up here. So GA looks pretty good. So what did I see? And I'm going to go to the daily. And also, we're above all the moving averages on GA. So I looked at it, I said, this is a double top that we are at on GA, because if I scroll back in time, it was right here that I saw old support. We're now at that, at new resistance. So scroll way back in time, and that was actually March of 2016, give or take. So that's where we're at. And I said, okay, well, we're at a price level, a price zone resistance, and that's why we're hitting that wall, so to speak, on the daily time frame. Now we've also got distance between the moving average, the 5-day moving average, and the price point. We've got about, let me just see, get my crosshair, and that 5-period moving average is 1.8345, and so we got about 70 pips up that we could come down on GA. All right, another one. Let me move this out of the way. And Gertie, you need to catch up with me. We need to chat some more, buddy. All right, so GU. Yeah, let me open this up and let's going to see. Throw some moving averages on here. All right, go to the month time frame. And I'm keeping an eye on my trade down here to see what we're looking like. I can also see the levels that we're at. Now, on GU, this is the month time frame. We already came up to the 50-month moving average that was at 144.18. And you see we're at 143.10 right now. We've already come almost up to that point. Not quite, but almost up there. So I said we are at major resistance on the GU pair, which is the pound US dollar. Go to the week time frame. Zoom out. And I don't know why my connection is unstable. I'm on my phone, but Silk, you can go back a couple of years. It just depends on what you're looking for on the chart. You just want to find where there may be possible support or resistance. So this is GU on the week time frame. We're also at a double top, and that's a cup and handle. So a cup and handle, we could break out or we could break down. Well, you see, you got to look at the pound overall on the different pairs. So we see GJ was at resistance at the 34-period moving average on the month. GA was at resistance. GU is at a resistance on the month time frame at its 50-period moving average right here. So we're going to have some sort of pullback first. We could plow through, but I think we'll have a pullback before we plow through, because we're in a downtrend. So if I zoom out, okay, this is also where we're at. Look at that. We are at a previous price support. It's now new resistance. So what you have to do is you look across in time, and this goes all the way back to 2007, 2008, and this was 2009. So we're way back over there, and I'm looking, you see how far back I went, 10, 11 years ago, and we are at price resistance. So we've come down, and now we're probably going to come down again. So in a sell-off on the pound, probably going to be pretty good, but the pound is gaining strength against the US dollar. We all know why. We are so much in debt, 19 trillion, $20 trillion, and they are devaluing the US dollar for a reason, to make our debt to other nations worth less. Okay, so that is that with GU. And if I look up what's the other one I was going to look up? Oh, GCH. You get the point of where we're at on GJ, the pound pairs. You could also go to the pound dollar index. So let me go into the week time frame on GJ, and you see how far up we are from any of the moving averages on the week. If you go back and look in time, the moving averages, almost every candle touches a moving average. It's very rare that you're going to get a candle that does not pull back at some point and touch a moving average. This one right here, we were close to the moving average. It took off, came all the way back down. Opened here, boom, went down and came all the way up. So here, we ran up last week, boom, exploded, came all the way back down, then we gapped up, and we ran all the way up here. Then we came back down to here, and we've run back up again. I still believe we're going to come all the way down to 151 this week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got 4 days that this could potentially happen. So we're at 153.28. That's why I say monster sell opportunity. Now, let's go to the day. This would be a swing trade over the course of a few days. You just got to deal with the swap fees that you're going to have to pay. All right. On the day chart, also, here we have a, does anybody know what this candle is? This is candle identification time. Can anybody tell me what this candle right here is? Anybody know? Gravestone doji, my man, Matt. That's it. It is a gravestone doji. Totally negated by the gap up the next day and then a rally. But this is still a very powerful candle identifier. Let me go and show you. If it was up here a little bit higher, maybe if we ran all the way to it was up here, that would be a more powerful indicator because it's at the top. But this showed that the bulls rallied and then the bears took control by the end of the session. And so we ended up coming way down. And then we negated by the next candle run up. And we're still right at resistance over the course of time. If I go back to the month time frame, that 34 period moving average comes right through here. This hits it and it comes right through here. Boom, boom. So we got two tops. So that's why we're putting in a channel top. Now, here's what I want to tell you. So many people, they teach drawing lines, horizontal lines for support and resistance. That is basic or elementary technical analysis. It is good to do. You'll get to the point where you just start to see it. Your eyes will see it when you load up a chart. Also, to draw channel trend lines like this, if I draw a trend line and I go from here and connect that to here. Well, if I keep that on my chart and I go to the month time frame, let's just see for kicks. It'd probably be different because of the point. Boom. Let's load that up. Right there. We are almost right where the 34 period moving average is. It's off a little bit because of the time frame. But this is where we went up just a little bit above it. You'll pierce through the moving averages through momentum, but you'll come back through. It doesn't matter where it wicks, it's where it closes. So isn't that powerful? The moving averages do it all for you. Once you learn the moving averages, friend, it is a game changer. It will help you stay in a trade longer. You're no longer capturing 2, 5, or 10 pips. You are capturing 90% of that range because you are riding it from support of the moving average to resistance of another major moving average, maybe on a longer time frame or a shorter time frame. So you look at the moving averages across multiple time frames to find out where the potential support or resistance will be, depending on if you're in a buy or a sell. And I hope that makes sense. Right now, we are coming down nicely. Y'all should be in the money right now, making some good money. We're down about 10 to 15. Yeah, about 15 pips. So we're going to capture over 100 pips on this trade. Maybe maybe 200 in the next few days. You stay with JRock, baby, and I'll teach you how to trade reading the moving averages. So people ask me, say, well, how do you know that it was going to come down? Well, I just showed you the longer time frame moving average showed we were at resistance. And then when I called a sell a minute ago, I said the bottom is about to fall out. And a guy posted in the chat room, he said, well, how do you know that? Can you do a chart? I hope he's on this call and you're listening in so that you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to go to that chart where I looked at it and said the bottom's about to fall out. So here is that trend line that I drew. And you see we came up, hit it, We came back and look at, once we broke above, this was a fake down and shakedown, and then it rallied, boom, it rallied. But we were still, if I zoom out, we are still riding in a channel trend up, and we caught up. We had major support, which is the 200. We're on the 4-hour time frame. So this is the 200 4-hour candle time frame. And make sure that you do not annotate on my chart. Thank you very much. See if I can clear that real quick. Well, annotate, clear all. Get back here. Boop. I like a clean chart. All right, so I'm going to close that and leave that right there. So, excuse me. What was I saying? We got here, we found major support on the 200, and then here's the 100 right here as well. It will respect, and I'm making a video, a few videos on my time frame. So you see I've already got them here labeled: intermediate moving averages, major moving averages, minor moving averages. So if I just went in here and I clicked on one of these, it's going to pull up that template with only my major moving averages, and then you can see, go across different time frames and see where it respects those price points with your 100 or your 200. And then if you say, well, what happened here? Well, it's probably another moving average. It's right there. You got to learn to use all your moving averages. If I go to another time frame like my day chart, well, you're going to see total respect of the 200 right here, and then a little bit right here, came down, bounced right off the 100. It hesitated right here on the 100. Also, it hesitated right here when it was breaking through the 100. So these moving averages are powerful. When you learn how to use them, you will see support and resistance right here on your majors. If I do my minors, change my template to my minor moving averages, well, then you see the 5 and the 10, and how when it gets in a trend, boom, it'll hop on top of that 5 and trade sideways, hold the 5 and the 10. You stay in that trade all the way up until it breaks down below the 10, which would have been right here. If you have your RSI, then you would have seen this was probably maxed out in 80 or 85 level on your RSI, so you would have gotten out here. That's when I jump out on a major RSI max out. But I'm holding this trend all the way up. They're all simple moving averages. Thank you, Serena, clarifying that for me. So you see how these moving averages, even to the lower time frames, let me go to the 5-minute time frame, and you will see when it gets in a channel trend, boom, even on a 5-minute time frame, it will hold the 5 and the 10 moving average all the way down. And then the first pullback to the 10, then it drops. And then what you start doing is you move your stop loss, you adjust your stop loss way into profit. And when it starts getting further away from the moving average like this, you tighten that bad boy up and you bring that stop loss all the way down. Let it be a trailing stop loss of 7 pips, 5 pips, so that when it turns, boom, it hits that trailing stop loss comes down with it, trails at 5 pips all the way down, or 7, wherever. And when that pair stops, the trailing stop loss becomes a solid, firm stop loss. And when it turns back, it's only got 5 pips to stop you out of your trade, or 7 pips, whatever you put it on. So when I said earlier, the bottom was about to fall out, because I was looking at these time frames right here, and I said, okay, so we've got a lower high and a lower high, and we're putting in we're going to be putting in a lower high pretty soon. Plus we were weakening on the other moving averages. Let me add my main moving average template real quick, and you'll see what I saw. And I'm going to take off the RSI so that I have a little more room to see that chart. All right, then I'm going to zoom in. Actually, I'm going to take off the viewing options deal map, tick volume, period separators, take off the grid. All right, I'm going to go with that. Okay, so here's what I was seeing. We were at a bottom here and a bottom here, so it was pounding the bottom. And as it was picking up, it hit the 100 here. Then it came down. This is on the 5-minute time frame. I'm on M5, and this was a bull trap. But if I go to a longer time frame, you'll see where it was hitting up here. But here we found some level of support right across this level. So when we bounced up and hit the 100, came down, then we did it again, and we just penetrated through, but we closed down here. And then we came here. I said, the bottom is about to fall out. and get ready. Well, actually, it was right here. I called it right here because we were getting under the 34 and the 10. So here's your 10. The orange line, the yellow is your 34. The light blue is your 5. The longer or the slower moving light blue is your 100. And then we were just needing to break down. Well, I was seeing that right here, and then it bounced up, and then it came down. I said, the bottom's about to fall out. Well, we did one more bounce up, and then the bottom fell out. So here we're doing a little pick back up, but we got another little bottom that's setting in here at 153, 23, 24, give or take. So if I zoom out and I look across time, maybe do a crosshair and say what's going on right here at 153.23. Don't see anything on the 5-minute time frame. So let me go to 30-minute time frame and the 1 hour time frame. Those are my go-to time frames for staying in a trend longer. Now, we've been in this uptrend for quite some time, from 148 all the way up to 153. That's 500 pips. We are due for a cool off. And here's your top. Boom, boom, boom. Now, let me zoom in. We've held the 100 and the 200. Here's the last little test of the 200. Then we held the 100 right here. And then, boom, we put in this major top, which is your channel trend resistance. And now we are breaking down below the 100. So we've got a double breakdown below the 100 on the 30-minute time frame. So we're getting ready to, boom, we're going to drop to this level, which is going to be where the 200 is. We may bounce back up to 153.20, maybe 153.40. May bounce all the way back up to here, and then boom, the bottom's going to fall out again. Or we just stay all the way in. When you get down here to this resistance, that's when you get out. Or support, I'm sorry. When you get down here to the 200 support, you get out and you wait until it bounces back up, and then you can get back in. But don't be so quick to get back into the trade. Just give it time to play out. Let me zoom in a little bit more, and you see how we're starting to get on the 30-minute time frame. We're starting to get under that 5-period moving average right here. And so this bounce up was right into it for this, 30-minute time frame. Yes. And we are bouncing right up. So the new 30-minute just started 3 minutes ago. That's why we had the rally. And that's what I tell you. Anytime you see a longer time frame candle, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, day, week, month, you are going to see volatility occur a few minutes before up to a few minutes after that time frame begins, because it's going to do a shift, and 9 times out of 10, yay, even 95 out of 100 times, it is going to go the opposite way first and put in a wick, and then boom, it'll go the other way. So here, you see where this candle opened? Right here, it's flat on the bottom, so it opened right there and shot straight up. So we're putting in the upper wick. And then you look at every candle, it's got a wick, 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 everywhere, wick. Only this one right here had a longer wick, but this was off the bottom test. So we know this is not going to be the bottom. We are about to break down, come way down here, and maybe bounce off a 153 even. And then we'll bounce back up, and we'll put in the lower wick in the body of the candle, which will be similar to this right here, this type of candle, or this. But we went up, and look, we touched the 5-period moving average right there perfectly. I can't zoom in anymore, but you can see it right there. So as this candle falls, that wick is going to move down just a little bit, because the moving average, the end of the moving average still moves, because it's calculating the end of this candle, the closing price of the current candle. So you see what happened? As this price dropped, that moving average came right down and touched the top of that wick. There it moved. Boop, it's moving. And so the further down we go, the further down this moving average comes, and that's going to say why it'll show a wick above, even though it didn't at that particular point in time when it went up. So we're getting ready to come down. So it will be a good time to sell GBPJPY. Absolutely, that's what we're talking about. Now, let me go to the hour time frame, and this is another to keep you in the trade longer. I know a lot of people want quick money. Friend, quick money never solves any problem. You end up spending it, losing it, blowing it, because you haven't learned to keep it. You've got to learn to make your money work for you, compound it over time, build it slow and steady. And I know you see sometimes you say, wow, man, you made, $50 or $60 or $70,000 in one day. Well, I've been doing it for 20 years, and I take bigger risks, and I do it with a small amount of money. But you know, I may have $20,000 and I'll do it with 1,000 in an account and I'll swing for the fence. I may blow that 1,000 7 times. So I'll do loaded 1,000, blow it, boom, 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 boom. And then that one time that I hit it out of the park, I make 70,000. So it makes up for what I've lost. But you can't do that because you got to learn how to read the charts first. And then number two, you got to have money to be able to work with. 500 or 100 is not money to work with. You got to build it up. So start with 100, build it up, use 0.01 lot size, boom, 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 slow and steady, and you can build it up and you'll start making money. Yeah, we'll look at a pair that's not JPY, sure. Well, the pound pairs are the ones that you're worried about, Radaya. The GBP pairs are the ones that are brutal. They're very fast movers. So I can get in a turtle pair for you, like CAD, JPY, that's a turtle pair. I don't like those, but most of y'all can handle that. UJ is a turtle pair. I will look at that in a minute. So right now what you're saying is, let me zoom out. And when you get in a trend, when we found support right here, a little bear trap, when it got under there, boom, it exploded. And when we took off, when we broke above all these moving averages, here's the 200 down here, the 100, boom, we powered above it. This was the time to get into the trade and stay in it because we ran, we held the 5, first pullback. Mr. Nick Frazier, what's the first pullback going to be to, sir? Waiting on you, buddy. Type it. Are you still with me? Well, he's going to say the 10-period moving average. So when it rides the 5, the first pullback is to the 10, and then it'll stay the 5 and the 10. It'll ride it all the way up to resistance, or the second pullback is normally to the 20. So we pulled all the way back almost to the 50, and this was a gap down when we opened. Actually, this was Friday, and then we gapped up on Sunday evening. Boom. Rallied up and we hit the 20, we came back down, and then we rallied up to resistance again, which is the 34 period moving average on the month time frame, dropped, up, dropped. So I think we just rallied hard again. We went all the way up to 153.40, so we kind of pushed the balance here. Let me zoom back out. Oop, zoom back in. Yeah, we had a much bigger rally, but you see, so on the hour time frame, we rallied all the way up to the 34, and the 5 is right here coming through here. So we rallied up to the 34 and the 5. So, yeah, it highlights the moving averages, yes. And also, if you look, when I touch it, look in the top left corner up over here, and you'll see it'll show you what that current price point is at, where that moving average is at. So it shows me 153.48 is where the 20. So that's why I can call it out real quick. Say, yeah, resistance right now is at 153.48. I don't need to go get my crosshair, come down here and try to measure it and say, yeah, we're at 153.48. It shows it for you on this. Now, desktop versions are a lot cooler and a lot more advanced than mobile app version trading platform. So we came up a lot higher than I expected. Still think it's going to come down. This is for the new hour. I don't think it'll rally really hard, but we still have to watch it. I think the bottom's still going to fall out, but it's taken a lot of time consolidating in this range. And you see, here's my sell down here. I've got a 10 and a 2 down here. So I've got to watch my margin. My stop out is at 95. I would have to go in and close a position, a lower, smaller position that I have if I get close to that, because I don't want to get stopped out. Even though it does a smart stop out, I'll just close it if we start pushing up further. So give me 1 minute and let me see. That is a much bigger rally than you see all of this and just took off. So I don't know if we just had news or they're just still shaking and baking, running it one way and the other. They're not letting it drop yet. And it went all the way up on the 5-minute time frame. We're at the 100 currently. So we broke through all the other moving averages. And that's just one of the things you got to, that's why you cannot over leverage, because if you over leverage, you're going to blow your account. If you take your time and you trade conservatively and wisely, you'll do a lot better. Yeah. Small swing lot, correct, for GJ. Yes, it's still a sell to here. Okay. So this is a good place to get into a sell. I don't have but 470 free margin because it's I'm so heavy on the sell down below. and I just got to let it come back to me, so I'm good. I'm just going to wait and let that ride itself out. All right. Now, keep an eye on that down here, 67, 65. All right. So UJ, we find UJ over here. And then EN, I'm going to look at EN as well. So I'm going to close GJ. I'll close the GU. I had UJ over here. Didn't know that. GA. Okay. And then I have Euro NZD. I called a sell on that earlier. This is the 5-minute time frame. We called a sell up here at 168.70. So it's done real well coming down. So I'm in pretty good profit on that. Everybody should be in profit. I haven't closed or called for a close of that trade yet, but right at a little support right here. So that's a 5-minute time frame. And I think this will come on back down to 167.80, which is going to be that level right here. If I put my crosshairs right there, it's going to be about that level, 167.88. Have a nice bounce. And that is about another 12 and 37, 49 pips from where we're at. UJ. So we know UJ has been up and down, but it's been in this zone. And here we are. We are right here. I put in these levels. I put in these levels here. Let me delete that object. Get a little clearer view. So we're right at the 200-month moving average, and we're at the 5-month moving average. So we're kind of squeezing in right here. Will we break down or will we break up? Don't know yet. It could go either way. If I zoom out, it looks like we're in an uptrend, but we're putting in a bull pennant pattern right now. So that's your pennant pattern. If I were to draw it like that, boom. So let me do the annotations, and then you'll see draw. All right. So here's your bull pennant pattern. That is right. Get out of here. Took my pen away. Sorry if the line's not straight. There's your bull pennant pattern, and then there's your pole. All right, so that's bull pennant. The chances of it breaking out are what you expect in this situation, but it can still break down. Where's it going to break down to? It would break down to this point right here, which is your 100 period moving average. So it would break down here first and then come back up. It just depends. So we don't know what it's going to do yet, but we are expecting. Now, let's go to the week time frame. And I'm going to zoom in. And you see the RSI, we're in a downtrend right here. So we've trended down below the 50 and between the 30, and we're kind of curving back right now. The RSI is coming down a little bit, but we are above the 5 and the 10. So the likelihood of this going up on the week time frame is good. Where could we go up to? We could go up to right here, 108.87, give or take. I didn't have to do that. I could just clicked on this, 108.88. So the chances of us going up to 108.88 is about 150, 160 pips, 170. So that is looking good for that to rally. Let's go to the day time frame and see if we got confirming indicators. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. So we put in low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and then we've been rallying and we've come up above, way up here, and we've caught up in the minor and intermediate moving averages. We only have the major moving averages above us, 100 and 200 on the day chart, and it almost looks like it could be, if you see that, there is a, just show you, some of you probably already know what I'm going to do, but that could be the beginning of a inverted head and shoulders. And then here's your neckline going straight across here. So when it breaks above that, then well, that didn't go well. Clear those annotations. All right. So this is your head and then your left shoulder, and then it could be put in the right shoulder even though it's very weak. But you see we're above all the moving averages, above the 34 and the 20 right here and the 50, and then we're just kind of perched under the 5 and the 10. UJ looks really good for a buy right now to go up, and we could break out and run to 108.88. We could go beyond it to the day 109 right here, 109.17. We could peek through that and come through to this one on the day chart, or we could stop short on the week chart at 108.88. So got a couple options here. I like UJ for a buy. I think it's good, and even now as we speak, it looks like it's picking up. So let me jump to the 30-minute time frame. We've got resistance right here that we got to plow through. So this is a flag pattern on the 30-minute time frame. There's your flagpole, and then your high basing triangle where it's shaped like a triangle that's also like a bull flag, a bull pennant, sorry. And it looks like it's getting ready to, but it's got resistance. It's got to overcome the 100 and 200. But boom, it could pop right through those. No problem. Like it did right here. Let's do that. Zoom back in time. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So here's the 100 and the 200. Boop. And then we rallied. So this could very well happen here very soon in the next few hours. So I like my chances with UJ. Pop, pop, pop. Yep. I like UJ as a buy. Very strong flag pattern right now, so buy it is what I would do. UCAD going to be the same thing. The Canada is weak, so if the US dollar is performing and picking up, then UCAD is going to go up as well. Gold, yeah, gold played out. It went up and then it came back down. So you got to move your stop loss into profit. So what I do is, as you see it running, you got to move that stop loss up and lock that profit in, because I'm not always going to be watching it. I do sleep, at least 30 minutes out of the day, Aaron. So you got to give me that 30-minute window when it pops, and you got to make sure you're watching it. Move your stop loss, buddy. All right. Self-manage your trades. All right. AUD-CHF. Let me see where we at. AUD-CHF. Do I even have that on here? Maybe I passed it. Do a search. No. Well, I don't see it in that list. Give me 1 second while I find this AUD-CHF. There you go. All right. Boom. Let's go. All right. Move that back over here. Add that template. Nice. 1 hour chart. Australia dollar against the Swiss franc. Let me go to the month time frame. Still keeping an eye on my unrealized net. So we dropped down to 5,800. My free margin is increasing. Margin level is good. So it looks like GJ is dropping again. Finally coming back down. And that was just a rally, like I said, rally to the 100 5-minute time frame. Boom, bottom's gonna fall out soon. So anybody got in a sell here, you're in good shape. Just remember paypal.me. It's paypal.me/JRockstar. If you want to tithe or break off some to your brother, then you can. Just kidding. But I have had people do that, send me money. Very touching gesture, even though we're good. But I bless you guys, and I hope that it works out, that you learn all you can. So let's see, month time frame, that's what I'm doing here. All right. ENZ, Euro NZD coming down. I called a sell on that in the signals channel. So the month time frame, what do we see here, Serena? What would I call this space between here and there? Anybody know what I normally call that space between there? From here to the resistance level. Anybody know? Anybody know? Give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. I call it blue skies to the resistance level. So we got quite a ways, especially on the month time frame, because if you look right here, that's at 0.7584 and we're at 0.7332. So that's 323 to 854. That's 500 pips all the way up to the 100. And the 200, let's zoom out. I don't see the 200 on this chart, it hadn't populated yet. Let's go to the week time frame. All right. Now here's the thing. On the week, it's showing pullback. So the pullback is going to come to right here, 72.76. We're at 73.32. So that's about 57 points, okay, that we could potentially pull back to this level right here on the week time frame, though we don't have to. We could trade sideways and then boom, or we could pop and then the next week start and pop. It could do it just like this, pop, 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 all the way up. So we look like we're getting ready to break out of a flag pattern. So there's your top level, and it's a high basing or your resistance zone. And we're above the 200. If I zoom out, we are above all the major and minor and intermediate moving averages. Very powerful potential pair. Good job, Serena, AUDCHF, for a big move to the upside. Let me look at the day chart. Okay, so today we're pulling back. So we came up, we're pulling back, but we are still right at that resistance level. Man, look at where we're at. When we take off and run, the first pullback is to the 10. So if you want to buy this, it looks like we are right at the buy area, 73.30. I might have to go call a signal on that. ASP. ASP is faster than ASAP, in case you were wondering. So 73.30, let me look at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, and here's where people get confused. They start dropping down in time frames and they say, well, I'm kind of confused because the longer time frames show that we're at support, but the lower time frames show we're going to come down. Well, the longer time frame moving averages, they have more validity, more reliability, more power to support or resist a move. So if we are right at almost at support, which was right here, if I zoom in, there I will need my crosshairs for that, 73.25. We're only 5 pips above where the 10-period moving average is on the day time frame. So that is support. So the potential for this to break up and run, and a lot of times I've said that, you see a little bear trap right here. Well, it's because it was hitting support on a longer time frame. So here we go. I would say this is a good level. You can put in a buy right here. However, if you wanted to, you can say, well, we could come back to here, which is 72.93, or here, which is 72.75. Remember what I said on the longer time frame, 72.76 is where we could pull back to on the week time frame. So we could pull back to here. That's about 30 and 20, 55 pips. I don't think it's going to do it. We could come back a little bit, but who knows? So if you want to get in now, or what you could do is put in a buy stop right here at 73.50, so that when it runs, if you're away from your phone or your computer, you will not miss that breakout move. And you can put a buy limit down here at, say, 73.05 and catch it, put a double down buy stop down here at the 72.76. I don't think it's going to come that far because we've got support right here at this level, which is probably about 73.15, give or take. Okay, hour one time frame. All right, so we're trading sideways right now, and we are under all the moving averages, but that's on the hour time frame, and we're at support on the longer time frame. So like I said, longer time frame, the moving averages are more powerful. And GJ looks like it's jumped back up. We came all the way back up 6,600 margin level, so it's still fluctuating. And GJ is kind of crazy. It'll drop, bounce, but it moves, and you won't see this fluctuation if you're not over leveraged. So if you take your time, you don't over leverage, you're going to be okay. So we're still just kind of in that zone, putting in lower highs, and the potential for the bottom to drop out is still very good. All right, where are we at? ACHF. And I said the hour time frame. So on ACHF, the hour time frame, I must have looked at another pair when I did that. My apologies. Was I on another pair? I must have. Let me go to the day and see. I jumped to another pair when I did that. My apologies, guys. So on ACHF, the day chart has resistance right here at 75.39 that we'd have to clear. Yeah. Y'all weren't even paying attention. Let me know that we were on a different pair. Yeah, I was on NU. Okay. So we're almost at resistance on the day chart. Let me go back and look at it again. I said the month we had, I totally analyzed another pair. I was on NU the whole time. So that was the analysis for NU. ACHF is totally different. We're at resistance on ACHF. ACHF is a sell, okay? And that potential on the month, we're in major resistance levels on the month time frame. All right. Let me go to the week time frame. We're at major resistance on the week time frame also. We're at the 34-week moving average right there. So the 34-week moving average is 75.13. We're at 75.04. We got about 9 or 10 pips to go before we hit that wall. The day time frame on the 200, 75.39. I don't think we're going to get up there on the day time frame. We've also hit a little resistance. I think we're too close to it right now that we're probably going to stop in this area, and then we're going to turn back. So we're going to have a drop off and put in another long wick like this, and then we're going to come on down. So that's my analysis there. 4-hour time frame. Yeah, good job. Sell limit at 75.15. That'd be good. So 4-hour, we're having a big pop right now, faking all the sheep and retail traders out, and then we're getting ready to come on down. So we could bump up just a little bit more, 7 to 10, 14 more pips. So 1-hour time frame, big pop going on here. We're almost at resistance. Yep. Almost at that double top resistance. And then we'll run up. Then we'll come down. Then we may run up again and come back down, or we just drop off, go up and then drop off. So you just have to wait it out. If it goes up, hits that wall, comes down, then goes up one more time, then comes down, or it just goes up once and then comes down. We will see. 30-minute time frame. Same thing. We've got a lot of divergence going on right here with the moving averages. Not as much as this right here where it ran and hit that here. This was more of a straight up, and we got into the overbought territory on the RSI. All right. Well, good job. You are learning. All right. 5-minute time frame. Let's just take a look at that. Should have a slow, steady bump up. This is a slow turtle mover. So you would be able to trade Australian dollar, Swiss franc, CAD JAPY, CAD JPY. Okay. So let's see. One more and then I'm going to run and wrap this up. Okay, so I did EN earlier, call for a sell on that. And we're still setting up for a nice solid drop off. Everything's looking good. On EN to do a continuation on down, and let's see what I'm looking at on EN, because I actually got into it. Yep. So EN, I called a sell on that at 168, between 60 and 70. So yeah, there you go. So I got it almost at 70. Hang on, let's see where that camera's at. There you go. So you can probably see that sell right there is it all the way up there. I don't know if you can see it, but that is EN, and it's looking real good. So that's on a sell. So you guys, here you go. Getting ready. Bottom looks like we're at that bottom. So once it breaks that bottom, it's going to just trail off like it did when it broke that top, trailed on up, rallied up. So we're real close. Okay. That being said, I hope you guys learned something. I'm going to post this recording here in a little bit, and you guys have an awesome day, and we will see you on the inside. Take care.